Hi, glad you could join us. I'm Annette Sherman. The name of the program is Community. Guess what our program is about? It's about our community. We never run out of wonderful, exciting, interesting things to talk about in Sarasota, Florida. Special guests today. Special guests because they're involved in seeing to it that that community that we love, we all love Sarasota, is involved in interesting and important initiatives. And they not only underwrite the initiative, but they spend a great deal of time seeing to it that that initiative is known about, is followed, is part of people's lives, a part of what they do and what they think. It'll become more clear to you when you meet my guests and when we get to talk about their latest initiative, which I find absolutely incredibly wonderful. Let me introduce my guests, all three from the Gulf Coast Community Foundation. Let's start with Mark Pritchett. And Mark, it's a good place to start because Mark is the CEO. He is the head honcho there, and he's just got all the wonderful qualifying qualities to be CEO of the Gulf Coast Community Foundation. I'm going to ask you after I finish introducing the ladies to talk about your background, but we'll get back to you with that. He picks, as you can see, terribly unattractive women, but they're very talented. No, they're beautiful as well as talented. I don't know that that plays a part. The truth, Mark.
Now, they're highly qualified in all areas that we need at Gulf Coast Community Foundation.
They're qualified in all areas and beauty as well. It's
a nice bonus, I'll put it that way.
No, there's something about an attractive person that is more endearing than an ugly person. So I can understand that. I can understand that you want people who work in your organization to have some semblance of attractiveness, but also know how to present themselves and know how to be a representative of your wonderful organization. Okay, Mark Pritchett we have, and it's very easy because they're both Veronicas. I think he only picks pretty Veronicas to hire. Although Veronica Brady was there when you got there, right?
She was.
Now, we'll talk about your background in a little bit. Okay, Veronica Thames, with a TH, Thames. Okay, and I'll get to you in a minute. What is your title in the organization?
I am a senior VP, senior vice president.
A little louder.
I'm a senior vice president and chief operating officer for the organization.
Just in the short time you were hired, you got to be senior vice president. Amazing, amazing. Very talented, very pretty, but also very talented. Now, I know Veronica Brady for a long time. I can attest to her qualifications. She is very talented, very capable, very determined to help Gulf Coast Community Foundation continue to be a significant force in our community. Follow the leadership of Mark Pritchett, because that's where he leads this organization. I'm very fond of the Gulf Coast Community Foundation and of the thinking of Mark Pritchett. We're going to get to your thinking in just a moment. You can speak.
Okay. Happy to be here. It's many a time. We've been together for years and years. We've known each other 30 years now, Annette.
Always a pleasure to have on the program, but more than that, a pleasure when I see you in the community doing what you're doing, and you'll eventually be, I guess, working with Veronica 1 and you're Veronica 2, TOO. So it's exciting. It's exciting the things that, okay, initiatives. I think, and stop me if I'm mistaken, I think that the initiative has got to be something that motivates your entire staff and everyone that works at the Gulf Coast Community, everyone that is in our community should be motivated by it. Okay, I was really, what is the word? I was really surprised. That covers the waterfront. When I saw the initiative that you initiated recently, it was not that recently, it's been how long, Mark?
We launched it a year ago, October, and it's actually a refresh of an initiative that we launched 10 years ago, now 11 years.
Okay, so this initiative, how many years ago was initially?
Initially 11 years ago.
Okay. I would imagine if we take a vote where I could see you raise your hand, I think most of you would raise your hand and say, oh yes, I've heard about that. I've heard about that. I don't remember where exactly I heard about it. Maybe it was a cartoon that I saw that was done by Ringling College regarding that initiative, talking about it in a very cute, as only they can do in Ringling, with something adorable and cartoon characters. And the initiative we're talking about, before we go any further, Mark, tell about it.
Well, Annette, we appreciate the opportunity, and our mission at Gulf Coast Community Foundation is, together with our donors, we transform our region through bold and proactive philanthropy. And this is a transformative initiative. We're really looking at our society today, and we're concerned about the discourse. It's very ugly sometimes, whether it's on social media or in television or in print. So one of the things that we thought we would do is elevate the way we relate to one another and put a focus on civility. And our main audiences are the workplace and schools. We've been very fortunate to work with the Sarasota County School District on this, where every child and every staff member in the school district will be impacted by a positive tone around civility.
When I first saw it, and I think you knew that most people or many people would react as I did, not that as I did, but as each other. Civility? Well, come on. What is it? What do we need civility for? But you answer the question immediately.
And the answer is because it matters.
Absolutely.
Because it matters.
Mm-hmm.
These are
Because it matters. And so many things so many examples that you probably could think of, I know I can think of every time we talk about it, every time I think about it, how civility matters.
It's interesting because these are 10 keys to civility. So they're very simple. Say please, say thank you, respect others, make a difference. There's 10. And so we have put together and rolled out to workplaces just things to think about if you're in the workplace that are civil. Refill the coffee maker. Put paper in the copy machine if you've used the last paper. I mean, Veronica oversees some of that training, and I mean, it's impressive, and it makes a difference.
Now, you did this about 11 years ago, civility. And it's the same kind of thing. Civility, what is it? Why are you bothering that? And then you answer the question, because it matters. When somebody adds that because it matters, you could probably think of more than a half a dozen incidents in your own life where civility mattered. And I wish that some of our elected officials would get the message as well. And some of our other people who are just people that we may have contact with will get the message. Because you accomplish more with civility than you do with anger or bad words. I don't mean bad words because they're naughty. I mean bad words because they're not good. They're not beneficial. They're not complimentary. They're not happy words. Civility is important. And it took a lot of courage for you and for your group of wonderful people that work with you to accept that and to move forward. And our wonderful friend, yours and mine, and I guess the ladies as well, the Veronicas as well, that's plural, Veronicas,
Larry Thompson.
the cartoon that was made by Larry, and we were talking about Larry Thompson now. While I'm talking about Larry Thompson, there are about 96 different digressions here that I haven't but we'll get it all done, don't worry. We have an organization that I founded about 20 years ago called Community Video Archives. Each year, Community Video Archives selects very, very special people. There are only 4 that are selected. When they're selected, they have their personal video biography, story of their life to this point, created by our producer, Myron Thomas, and his wife. Christy is his wife's name. And they're excellent at what they do. And we have, at this point, about 150 video biographies in all the libraries, in the Library of Congress, which, in the Library of Congress, it's living forever, because it stays there forever and ever, and they take very good care of it. So that not only our generation will know these people, this life story of these people, and let me add right here and now that our Mark Pritchard has been elected to join that very special group for for this coming year. I get confused. 2018, it's not 19 anymore. It's 2018 going to 2019.
19, exactly.
So that's a great honor, and it's well deserved. You're not a loudmouth person. You're a quiet, sincere person. So sometimes people will not notice, but we have called their attention to it because we noticed, and we noticed the wonderful work that you're doing at the Gulf Coast Community Foundation, the wonderful people that you hire to work with you. I tease about how beautiful they are, but they're very, very capable. Otherwise, well, I don't know you that well, Ms. Thames, but I do know Ms. Brady, and Ms. Brady is extremely talented and capable. She can't help the fact she's beautiful. I don't think she wants to do anything about it. Just leave it the way it is.
Just is what it is.
Okay. Civility, because it matters. Larry Thompson, who is the head of Ringling College, did a video. That video can be seen on your website?
Correct.
Okay, because we're not, it's about what, about 3 minutes?
Yeah, it's very, very brief, just a few minutes long.
Okay, because we don't want to, we have pictures for you that we do want to show and talk about the pictures, so you get we didn't talk about your background, and I made a decision in my head that we were going to skip that, maybe go to it, because it's important, and people want to know, so I think maybe we will touch on that now. Background, Mark.
Sure, thank you, Annette, and it's always a pleasure to be here. My background is basically, I came here from Tallahassee, Florida. I'd been in Tallahassee as a lobbyist and worked with a public policy think tank up there for many years. Got my PhD at Florida State, and then before then, I was in Kentucky and Colorado. So two beautiful states that led me to Florida about 32 years ago. And it's been lovely to be in the Sarasota region for the last 10 years.
I know you had some important, very important tasks that you were given to take care of, and we don't have enough time to go into those details, but you will find out a lot about Mark Pritchard as we move toward his inauguration into our Hall of Fame. A great deal about it, and it is the most desirable and the most prestigious honor that our community has, and well deserved by Mark Pritchard.
I'm honored. Thank you, Annette, for including me in that very prestigious group. Thank you.
Veronica, number 2.
So first of all,
a little bit about your background, Veronica.
Sure thing. I'm very grateful to be here, and we're also very proud that Mark has been introduced into this amazing gallery of critical people that have shaped our community. He's an innovator. And
where?
He is an innovator and a creative thinker.
Oh, you're still talking about Mark. I want you to talk about yourself.
I just want to say thank you for being here, and
I agree
thanks
with
to
you.
Mark.
I agree with you. And many people agree with you.
And so I have celebrated my 3 months with Gulf Coast Community Foundation earlier this month.
Had you heard about our community before you?
Absolutely.
You didn't live here.
No, I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, where I lived till I was 19 and came to the country because of my dad's job at the time. Got to live in a lot of places since then, including Boca Raton, LA, Orlando, and some other places in between, but landed in the very best community I could ever ask for.
Where did you work before?
I worked for HCA for about 12 plus years. The last hospital, Blake Medical Center in Bradenton, where I was a hospital administrator. responsible for what I call the people departments, like human resources, our volunteers, very large community program called H2U, our daycare facility, and other support departments.
What is your, I don't mean the title of your job. Well, you tell me the title, and then, because I think they use it when they show your name on the screen.
Yeah.
But what will be your job here in very simple terms so we can all understand it?
So as the Senior VP of Talent and Innovation and Chief Operating Officer, I'm charged with taking our strategic goals and developing an operationalized strategy to make that happen. And we take leadership from our very proactive and bold board of directors who establish our priorities. So they're a fueling force for the creative initiatives that we engage in and I get to be part of.
Okay. I want Myron to put the number on the screen before we go any further, because people may want to get in touch with the Gulf Coast Community Foundation based on something that they hear today. May want to make a contribution, maybe speak to one of these beautiful women, and the one you have to speak to is the one at the end there.
So,
Ms. Brady.
You've heard my story, but I'll share it
No,
again.
no, I want to, if they're planning their estate.
If they're planning their estate. So I've lived in Sarasota for probably almost 45 years.
The kind of confidence I have in you, I think I'm going to speak out and let them know. I want you, and we will set a date, and you will work with me.
I will be happy to.
And set, we're not going to be as fancy as some of the estates that you handle, or as with as much money in it, but I don't take any salary and I don't take any remuneration, so you got to hurry up and get to it because
Okay.
I'm using it up.
So I spent 25 years with SunTrust before I had the wonderful opportunity to join Gulf Coast Community Foundation. That was 8 years ago. And I loved what I did and have always done in this community, which is work with fabulous teammates and try to make a difference.
I know that you have so many responsibilities and you've always had a great deal, but then that's you. You don't realize you're taking on so much because you get it all done, and you get it all done in the way that you do everything. That's the best way you know how. So the point is that I know that how capable you are for these many years. How many years have you been with Gulf Coast?
With Gulf Coast, 8 years.
And before that?
SunTrust for 25 years. But it all sort of, it starts to blend together, as you know. Your work in the community is the way you give back, the way you live. Jay and I believe in that. Our kids believe in it. So, we've just, I'm very fortunate every day.
Well, and you make that something that people feel when they work with you, that you love what you're doing, you're happy about it, and you know that you're helping the community in every possible way you can in what you do. And I'll get to know this Veronica a little better, and I'm sure she's the same. Otherwise, she would not be sitting. Mark would not have fired her. And Mark, I think, has proved himself over and over and over again. And we're delighted to have you here and running this organization, because you're doing such an excellent job and bringing in excellent people. We've got pictures, and if we don't get to them, the time is going to go quickly. The first two pictures, okay, this is the Civility Squad.
That is our Civility Squad because it matters.
I didn't hear you. Speak up.
That's the Civility Squad because it matters picture, and it contains all of our characters, and each one of them represent a civility key designed to encourage good behavior in the community.
Okay. And what do we see here?
So we see at one of our schools down in the south part of our county, Englewood, this is a bench that these girls are sitting on, and they set up a bench very tied into civility that if somebody needs a friend, they sit down on that bench and everyone knows whoever's on that bench needs a friend and comes over and joins them on the bench. And it's just one of those small touches. We actually put one in our office.
We did, a buddy bench.
A buddy bench.
Buddy bench.
So
okay. What do we
very
see
sweet.
next?
So what you're seeing here is pictures of our Reading Recovery Initiative, brought to us by our friends Keith and Linda Monda. This is a program that works with struggling first grade readers to get them up to grade level reading. We now have at least one reading recovery teacher in every elementary school in Sarasota. And we've expanded the program into Charlotte County, as well as other counties in the state are starting to take interest.
Damon is my director. Damon, after we see the finish of the pictures, please put the telephone number on the screen and the website on the screen so people can get in touch with Gulf Coast Community Foundation. Okay, what do we see here?
So another picture, this is our teacher leader, Lisa, working with one of the students, and it's one-on-one attention to the student to help them get able to read as quickly as possible. It's
Okay,
exciting.
next picture.
Yes, and this is a ribbon cutting at the Harvest House, and what this initiative focuses on, Annette, is our adolescents. We have 400 homeless adolescent children in Sarasota at one time. And
400 homeless?
homeless. So these are adolescents that are sleeping in their cars or couch surfing at
What do you
friends'
do
homes.
about that?
Well, that's why we started this initiative. We needed a safety net for these homeless individuals so that they could have a place to go that's safe, where we could connect them to the resources they need, either a place to stay, somebody to help them
When
with
I
their
ask what
homework.
do they need everything.
Everything that we can possibly get them. And they require a different kind of process than maybe a family would or a chronic adult.
How about our viewers now? Should they respond to that still?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a lot.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know these three people, my three guests know, but I don't want to take all that time. And I think that you want to learn about these things on a one-to-one basis. So the telephone number that's on the screen, and I would suggest the website. I'll tell you why. Because the telephone number is active, although I think Gulf Coast Community Foundation has phone answering all the time. However, you may not get the person you want. If you check with the website, you could get information, respond to it, send a check, do something that will help, do something that means you care, and we do care, particularly about youngsters who are homeless. And that will be our next generation moving in to their home, moving into some job somewhere with your help, okay? We have one more picture. Is that what we have? Okay, the last picture was what? What do we see?
Again, those are three of our homeless adolescents.
They look attractive and fine, but they know they were taking a picture. They're attractive, but they're not fine. But you can help make them fine and help them to be fine. And don't think because the foundation will come up with what is needed under any conditions. But having your help and having your acceptance of it and doing something, I don't know exactly what, but the people at the Gulf Coast Community Foundation will know and will suggest to you what you could do to help, what you could do to be civil. Okay. We have what's coming up. We only have 3 minutes left of the program. What's coming up that we should know about?
Well, we're really thrilled this spring in our Better Together luncheon to have Dr. Freeman Habrowski, who's the president of the University of Maryland Baltimore campus, coming to speak March the 8th at the Ritz-Carlton. Fabulous speaker, and
when is this?
This will be March the 8th at the Ritz-Carlton.
March the 8th. So get that date, save the date. The telephone number is going to be put on the screen. You can call. The website will be put on the screen. So again, I say check with the website because nobody has to be there. You can sit at 3 o'clock in the morning if that's the time and say, oh, I remember what they were talking about on Annette's program. I want to get in touch with them because March the 8th, March the 7th.
March the 8th.
March the 8th.
It's a Friday.
I want to be there because it sounds like it's interesting and I'll be helping someone and I want to do that. So get the website. When it comes on the screen again, it's going to come on now, and any minute now, any hour now. There it is. Okay, and help. Help even if you're going to give time, if you're going to give money, if you're going to give some thought, if you're going to give, I don't know what else. They'll tell you what else they need, and you can help with this. We don't want to have these youngsters not have a home and not have a family. Well, we can't provide them with a family, or maybe we can.
Sometimes
Sometimes.
we can make those
Okay.
connections.
I want to point out to you that this year, Mark Pritchard is going to be one of the 4 honorees in the Community Video Archives. That is the most prestigious honor our community can bestow, can offer. And there will be an event in April. It's April 29th. Get in touch with me. I will send you, if you're not on our mailing list, please send me your name and address to get onto the mailing list. We're not going to ask you for money unless you feel you would like to give us money. We'll accept it, and so will the Gulf Coast Community Foundation. But the fact is, we like to have a wonderful community turnout for our Community Video Archives luncheon, which will be at Michael's on East Ballroom in April. We have about a minute. Would you believe that we just used up that whole half hour? And but we had an opportunity to present the very beautiful, the 2 very beautiful, the new one and the one that's been with us for a while.
At least you didn't say the old one.
However, and the very wonderful and beautiful in his thinking and beautiful in everything he does, I feel, a perfectly wonderful human being who is the head of Gulf Coast Community Foundation. And he picks people like the 2 Veronicas, who are not only, the fact that they are beautiful, I keep getting to that, because they're particular, actually they're not the 2 Veronicas. We got them from Central Casting. And they said, these 2 women are so pretty, they'll like them no matter what they can do, but I know what Veronica Brady can do, and Veronica Thames I'll get to know her, what she can do also. Good choice, my friend.
Thank you.
We are about out of time. We have...
The time really flew. We bid you adieu from Community. If you want to know why we love it here, so check out Community.